Let's bring in Captain Sully Sullenberger now. He's CBS News aviation and safety expert. He is in Sparks, Nevada. Sully, good morning to you. This is such devastating and heartbreaking news. Did you ever suspect that this could be a possibility? There were so many theories going around about what could have happened up in the skies.
Gail, good morning. As a former accident investigator myself, I know that the investigator's job is to leave everything on the table until they're really ruled out. So this, of course, was one of the many possibilities. It's a very disturbing possibility, and I think it makes even worse what's already a terrible tragedy.
Is there no way that the pilot can override the door once it is locked? That's also very frightening, that once you're locked out, you cannot get back in the cockpit?
There is a means for people who are authorized to have access to the cockpit to try to gain entry. However, if there's someone in the cockpit who actively denies them that and keeps the door locked, they cannot enter. And of course, this is a result of the 2001 terror attacks. We had to beef up the cockpit doors, come up with elaborate locking mechanisms, but also we came up with human systems. And here in the United States and a few other countries, but unfortunately not widely in place around the world, we have in place protocols that require that there always be two people in the cockpit. And if one pilot needs to leave for some reason, then another crew member comes up so that they can safely get back in the cockpit. Apparently that was not done in this case.
Let me ask you about this co-pilot who, according to French prosecutors, intentionally took this plane into the mountains. He had joined Germanwings in 2013. He had logged about 630 flight hours. Does that make him a fairly young pilot?
It makes him relatively new at the airline and relatively inexperienced compared to his captain.
Because the captain had some 6,000 hours of flight time.
And I think that was in that airplane, so he likely had more flight time total in other airplanes as well.
Sully, I'm reminded of some other alleged pilot suicides, most infamously the Egypt Air 990 back in 1999. There was also a Silk Air flight. But how rare is this?
It's extraordinarily rare, but it has happened on a few occasions. This may unfortunately be another one of those. I should say that pilots are among the most scrutinized of all professionals, certainly more than medical professionals, and yet in very rare occasions, something happens that's really out of the ordinary, out of character, and it's really difficult to predict in advance which person is going to act in a very bizarre and harmful way.
I know, that's what I was wondering, Sully. How, with all the safety precautions that we take, how can you ever protect the public when you have a disturbed crew member?
Well, one way is to make sure there's always two people in the cockpit and make sure that all our safety and security protocols are followed diligently on every flight, even when they're not convenient, because we have to remember why we do them and for whom.
And then, Sully, one thing that Gail has talked about, if this pilot was banging on that cockpit door, as has been suggested, to try and get in, do you think passengers had a clue that something was wrong?
Absolutely.
Yes, it was
it's certainly
terrifying.
the ones in the forward part of the cabin. It would have been a terrifying number of minutes.
It was 8 minutes. That's what we were talking about yesterday. I can't
so
stop thinking about that, Sully, what those passengers went through
Terrible.
for the last 8 minutes of their life.
Could they have called? Could they have called down to anybody, Sully?
I don't know if someone had a cell signal. Most of the airphones have been removed years ago from those kinds of airplanes, so there would have been limited opportunities for them to communicate depending upon what cell signals they were able to get, mobile signals they were able to get.
Captain Sully Sullenberger, good to have you here. Thank you so much.